Are vectors really difficult? I don't think it is, and I'm damn sure that you will also agree with me in this video. Hey there, Krishna here. I do some videos on math at Akash to the next level, taking your skills, your knowledge and your future to the next level. If you are one of them to take your knowledge to the next level, consider subscribing us. Coming to this video, I'm going to share every prerequisite you have to know before solving vectors. So don't miss out this video at any cost. What is a vector anyway? Vector is just a mere physical quantity, which means it can be measured, and there is also another physical quantity which is scalar, whether it be a scalar or a vector. These both are physical quantities which can be measured. These scalars have a magnitude and no specified direction. They are represented by a number and with units aside. But vectors is not that case. Vectors have a specified direction which makes it a further more easier way to calculate anything. As vectors have a specified direction, we represent it with a line segment and a direction. Generally, any vector will be between 2 points A and B. This is denoted by the symbol AB bar, or else we write a small letter in bold as A bar. Remember the direction, this arrow is important. This is how we represent a vector. So how do you represent a point in space with a vector? In a coordinate system, let this point P having its coordinates x, y and z. This is a point in space in 3 dimensions, and this is the point of origin. The vector joining the origin to the point P is known as the position vector of P, and this position vector is denoted by xi bar plus yj bar plus zk bar. So what are these I bar, j bar and k bar? We have known that any vector is denoted by a small letter having a bar to the top of it. So in this case, the x-axis is I bar and the negative x-axis is minus I bar. The y-axis is j bar and the negative y-axis is minus j bar. Similarly, the z-axis, which we can't represent in 2 dimensions, is k bar and the negative z-axis is minus k bar, which is why for x coordinate we put I bar, for y coordinate we put j bar and for z coordinate we put k bar. This is the position vector we use to denote a point, to represent a point in vector form. This is the position vector. So how do you find its magnitude? Pretty simple. You find the distance between O and P, which means the distance between origin and point. It gives you the magnitude of the vector, which means under root x square plus y square plus z square gives you the magnitude of the vector or the modulus of the vector. That's what a vector is represented in coordinate geometry. How do we add them? When they are given in vector form, we add them same as the algebraical way, which means if we are given a vector 2i bar and another vector 3i bar plus 4j bar, we need to add them. Let this be a bar and let this be b bar. Then the addition would be so simple. In algebra, we add the coefficients of x term and the coefficients of y term and place x and y at their positions. Similarly, a plus b, a bar plus b bar becomes 3 plus 2, 5 I bar, and there is no j bar, so 4j bar. This is how you add when vectors are given in their vector form. But how do you add them when they are given in a figure, in a diagram? In that case, we need to use the triangle law of vectors. It may seem like it's a very pretty big law, we need to use it everywhere, but it's not like that. Pretty simple one, and you can just get it to the algebraic form. First, suppose there is a vector a bar and there is another vector which is in contact b bar. So the direction of the resultant of the vector, when we add up, the resultant vector goes opposite. This is a bar plus b bar. This is the triangle law of addition. But when we are given vector joining 2 points AB bar and BC bar, the resultant vector becomes AC bar, and this one we use it in our coordinate geometry, the position vector which I have told. Let this be a point A and let this be a point B. The position vector will be OA, the position vector will be OB, and the primary vector which we need, AB, becomes AB equal to OB minus OA. Very important one. This formula is pretty simple, but we use it everywhere. This is the simple thing yet unforgettable. Let me explain you with an example how to find magnitude of sum of two vectors. A bar is equal to 2I bar plus J bar minus 8K bar, and B bar is equal to I bar plus 3J bar plus 4K bar. And we need to find the magnitude of the resultant vector. First, add them up. A bar plus B bar becomes 2 plus 1, 3I bar, 1 plus 3, 4J bar, and minus 8 plus 4, minus 4K bar. So this is A bar plus B bar, the resultant vector R bar. Let this be R bar, and the magnitude of R bar becomes under root 3 square plus 4 square plus 4 square. 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, and 4 square is 16. 9 plus 16, 25, and 25 plus 16, 41. So the magnitude of the resultant vector becomes under root 41 units. We have seen how to add vectors and how do we find magnitude of a vector. Well, are there any types of vectors? Unlike scalars, there are some types of vectors which are collinear vectors, unit vector, and zero vector. Unit vector is nothing but having its magnitude unity, which means 1. And collinear vectors are nothing but vectors which are parallel to each other. First, suppose there is a vector A bar and there is another vector parallel to it, B bar. The magnitude may be different, but they are parallel. So A bar and B bar are known to be collinear vectors. How do we find it when we are given like I bar plus 2J bar plus 3K bar and another vector 4J bar plus 6K bar plus 2I bar? It's simple. When we are given two vectors A bar and another vector B bar, if at all they are collinear, they satisfy this condition. A bar is equal to lambda B bar. You see here 1, 2, 3, 2, 4 and 6. Remember, I bar and I bar, you should not be confused with the order of the symbol. So when we multiply this with 2, we get the vector. The magnitude may be different, but they are in the same direction. So they are said to be collinear vectors, and this condition shows you the collinearity of the vectors. If vectors are given in vector form, we add them in vectors. But when we are given their magnitude, how to find their magnitude and their direction without using vector form? It is possible only by the parallelogram law of vectors. For suppose there is a vector a bar having its magnitude 3, and there is another vector b bar having its magnitude 4, and the angle between these two vectors theta becomes 30 degrees. How to find the magnitude of the resultant vector? In this problem, we use parallelogram law of vectors, which is also triangle law of vectors, but we derive it before and we use the formula. The magnitude of any resultant vector becomes this one. Pretty simple to remember because it looks like the form of a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2ab. We need to just simply add cos theta to the term 2ab. The resultant vector's magnitude becomes under root a square plus b square plus 2ab plus cos theta. It's simple. Now the magnitude of the resultant vector becomes 3 square, 4 square and 2 into 3 into 4. 4 square, 2 into 3 into 4 cos 30 degrees. And if you haven't checked out my video on trigonometry, just click on that card or I will put it in the description below. 3 square becomes 9, 4 square becomes 16, 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24, and cos 30 becomes root 3 by 2. (16 plus 9 is 25 plus 12 root 3. So this becomes our resultant magnitude. If you really felt that vectors are as easy as scalars, then consider subscribing Akash to the next level, drop a like and leave a comment below.